Phoenix Rising of Gaming Gladiators. They sit at the top of the leaderboards. They're back down, and I couldn't be happier about it.
They are on Cloud9. They are absolutely demolishing anyone that walks in their warpath right now. So if you're a team that lands near them and you know their rotations, I would be kind of tempted to avoid them. You don't want to take this team on in a 3v3 at the moment. I think I've said it before and I'll say it again. They have been bullying other teams with their approach to playing this game. And it's so difficult to try and navigate your way through the map when teams are playing that way. Think back to how Furia played at the World Championships, right? This is a similar kind of feeling I'm getting from GG right now as they drop Lava Siphon and they are going to be having all the goodies they could have possibly asked for.
Yeah, I was going to say, when the sun's shining, you got to make haste, right? And that's exactly what's happening right now. They get the priority loot as well, right over their POI, which already has some wonderful goodies to play with. So keep your eyes on GG. The only thing that's really going to be able to stop them at this point maybe is a little bit of overconfidence, but look at where that zone's going down. Very similar to what we saw, maybe ever so slightly more to the west than what we saw a little bit earlier on. Look for that train station to maybe be one of those end zones, but Fragment is going to be busy for sure.
And as always, teams in the southeast side of the map will sigh as they are still yet to see a circle come their way in Pro League, and they'll be very upset about it. But eventually, maybe your drop spot will reward you, but it is not going to be just yet here in match number 5. As you say, there is going to be a long old walk up to kind of northern side. Maybe it is going to go drift a little bit over towards the area west of Epicenter, as those train tracks could be a finish.
This is interesting. Look at IG. They're stealing a little bit of loot away as well. So it looks like a little bit of a split of Lava Siphon might be going down here between Gaming Gladiators and, of course, Invictus, which is always interesting to see, to be honest with you. We'll have to check out exactly what is happening on map overhead, and that is exactly what is happening. So IG stealing a few bits away, hitting the beacon, and then getting out of here.
Yeah, teams do seem to have a mutual respect sometimes for drops, especially beacons. There was a big discussion point happening with TSM and Liquid and beacons in the North American region, and maybe in the Emea region, everyone's a little bit more happy to split beacons and making sure that you can just share them, because then you rotate away and you don't have to worry about each other for quite some time, because that's exactly what's happened here. IG, they walk in, they get a little bit of loot, they get the beacon, and they say, you know what, GG, you can have that. We're rotating early anyway. You know we are not a threat to you right now. We're not going to take that initial engagement, and that's why GG are more than happy to allow it to happen.
I will say as well, I said beacon, I meant balloon. Both words start with B, Dan. It's very confusing sometimes, especially when you're casting Apex Legends. So apologies to everyone there. I meant balloon. They hit the balloon. They're out of there. Peace. But you are completely right, of course, about the beacon information, as now we see Ascend making their way towards where they want to be. They started over at Harvester, but it looks like they've got a little bit of a scuffle going down here around Landslide. So their rotation going to be slowed down for a few moments. And look at this fight now going over at Big Maud. A little bit of a contest going down, and look who's involved once more. It's Game of Drones.
All these teams in the southeast side of the map probably just frustrated with how far they have to move, so instead they're just going to try and prioritize getting some KP now. It's going to be Heroes again in some action. Remember, Heroes were one of the teams we saw die early in the previous game as well, also having to try and stay alive in a third-party battle. But right now, this is just a straight 3v3. But the problem Heroes had before was this 3v3 became a third-party because of how long the fight was. Ember still in the vicinity and could join that fight if this fight doesn't conclude quickly.
Well, Heroes are going to have some good loot to play with, as you always usually do when you're leaving Big Maud. But it looks like things have calmed down for just a bit. Maybe that's just because that Seer ult was expired. No extra information now. Things are going to start to warm up a little bit more. The EMP is going to come through. Jill's going to be forced to use a few shield cells. And now they're going to look to re-enter this battle. A little bit of damage being done, but is it enough for Game of Drones to feel they want to push off it? Yes, it is. Here comes the reset. The Mastiff in the hand as well, but that Horizon is being so sneaky, so difficult to take down, but there is that first knock, and it's looking like Game of Drones are coming out on top here.
Yeah, Game of Drones trying to make up for perhaps last game where there was maybe a lack of communication, a lack of direction that was happening, but now you've got to try and put this team to the sword. You've got to finish them off. You've got to make sure you get the wipe as quick as possible before a potential third party could arrive. But I tell you what, they are making it difficult, our Heroes, at the moment. Last remaining player eventually goes down. Uzako will be taken out.
Yeah, it was one of those worrying moments where it felt like everyone was saying, you got him? No, you've got him. Wait, oh no, we're all dead. It's one of those situations which we've gamed a lot together, Dan. We know that those things do happen for sure, but Game of Drones will be the team that come out on top, and they will be the most comfortable looking, and they do get those KP they're looking for.
But here comes Ember. Ember have heard all this noise, and Ember are starting to approach Game of Drones now. And are Game of Drones going to be ready for it? Are they prepared as Ember start to walk up on their direction over towards Big Mord? And now you've got to loot quickly. If you win one of those engagements, you've got to make sure you are prepared. You are certainly shield swapping as quick as possible, because I think Ember, hearing all that commotion, are in the vicinity, looking around, seeing if they can maybe do any damage. But at the moment, looks like they're just going to be patient, seeing if there was any revivable members that were going to be coming to the beacon.
Well, it looks like for now, Ember are not going to be able to engage in that fight. Another thing you have to keep in mind as well, if you're pushing a team that's a Big Mord, you know they're going to be pretty heavily looted. So I think that's why you're trying to see Ember just out-rotate, get ahead of this team. And speaking of rotations and speaking of teams getting involved in some fights, you can see that KCP and Ascend both exchanging knocks in the kill feed. Dell will actually be finished off. So KCP down to 2, but looking at where that zone is going to be pulling, we have the map overhead to our left, or should I say on the left-hand side of my screen, as Pioneers will be eliminated. It's actually pulling to the western side of where Fragment was. So we're going to go towards where that big drill tower is, and maybe a little bit more landslide side than we thought.
Yeah, a lot of teams going drill tower, a lot of teams in landslide at the moment as well. When we do next get that map overhead, there you go. Look at how many teams have already made their way over to that western side. Very little on the east side of the map now, but the 4 or 5 who are on that eastern side are going to get that bad news once they do get that beacon information, or when this zone closes and they haven't got the beacon information, that they're going to have to try and fight their way through, or of course go over the top with a Valkyrie ultimate. But those teams who did get beacon information at the start of the game are going to be in a far better position, and those are the ones who usually are in the central zone positions.
You see Ascend there in a great position at the moment as we see another fight breaking out here, and this one's on Geyser at the moment. Game of Drones, they've just been constantly fighting. They can't have a moment's rest at the moment, as it's going to be Ember now. Like you mentioned, the two teams were close, and now they are not so close because Ember will come out on top of things. Great decision, by the way, from Young Hong Kong to pop that syringe to make sure that he can get some more off and get that shield swap before he goes down. But that was the fight you were waiting to see. Finally, it happens, and it is Ember who come out on top.
It was inevitable. Ember knew they were there. Ember were just biding their time, and they were hoping to be able to pick off one of them. And even though we didn't see the start of that fight, I imagine they slowly creeped up, waited for one player to step out of position, and then they took full advantage of it. And that's going to be a great wipe for Ember to continue their run today. They are in 4th position at the moment, 41 points. Of course, had that victory as well on Storm Point, as we take our attentions over to Vex Gaming, another squad who has been fighting very impressively today. They have been so thorough with their 3v3 fights to try and ensure they get the damage done early.
Yeah, here goes Unlucky as well. The opening damage is all you need if you're a Vex Gaming member. Destroys the gen as well, so now grenades become a problem for the team inside as well. They try and send a few back themselves just to hold off this push, but Vex are looking pretty healthy at the moment. Unlucky's moving in to get a couple of knocks with that Mastiff as well. Not only that, Danny escapes with his life. Huge play coming in from Unlucky.
Vex doing so well at the moment in this engagement. A perfect time to jump into a listening. Let's see how the comms are going.
Go together, go together.
Coming on.
I'm destroying the no-gun shield. I'm not behind them.
I'm with you.
Nice.
He's gone, I think.
He's running that way. Just wait.
There's a team as well, don't forget. I don't know if you scanned them, maybe.
Yeah, I saw them on... Is this him, maybe?
I don't know. Told you.
I saw him in zone.
No,
Wait,
don't guess. We don't guess. We don't just take a guess.
Go, watch that.
Skyhook is on. Wait, Skyhook,
Watch
EMP and Skyhook.
I don't care, we have the
Hey,
back.
where is he? Where is he? Just chill.
I don't know, no. He ran zone.
The underneath you, like directly here?
No, okay.
Bro, how many EMPs today?
Nobody close. Yeah, we just take it. Like, I don't know. Might shift back to the other side, but we're...
I have an Algs, so if you want it, by the way. Coming and
What
get
is
to it.
this? Sound close or what?
Ultimate accelerant here.
Well, Vex win that fight, Dan. They look pretty comfortable in doing so as well. It was the initial damage done by that Mastiff. And speaking of fights, Horizon are not looking good right now because Alliance have moved in. They're on this low ground now inside a countdown, and you can see they're all healthy. They're all able to reset. As Effect's job is to just watch and make sure that nobody creeps up behind them.
I do love every time we get listening as well, just hearing how frantic the communications can be with some of these squads and how aware they are that third parties are very much in the vicinity, and you've got to keep on your toes. You've got to be calling out everything and making sure you are watching all of these angles. But Alliance should be able to safely take control of this area in countdown. Looks like they're very much looking for final members of that squad, perhaps. But you've just got to be careful you don't overextend too much here. You're in a good spot with round 2 closing. You are going to get extra information when that zone has closed. So you can just kind of stay here for the moment and reside healthily. And as you've been able to bully that one team away, you should be okay on your own.
Yeah, remember the Vex were across from them, though. So even though they've managed to loot up here and managed to get a few armors, they've also used the gem, which was generously donated by the team previously, to get those purple shields back fully charged, so they don't have to waste any resources in doing it themselves. But this is what Effect is looking at right now for Alliance. He knows there's a team across from them. That's going to be Vex, who we just saw win. Changes as well with that anvil to single fire to do a little bit more chip damage, which is always a good thing to do with that 301. As now we move to the other side of the map, and you can see EKO, they're having to take to the skies at the moment. They are a long way off zone, and I think this is just them having their hand forced more than anything else.
Yeah, last-ditch attempt to try and get within the next circle. There are going to be teams kind of around them. Ember are going to be approaching from their south. BSE, Strongest and the rest are going to be approaching from the north as well. So EKO have to move quickly into the circle before they get collapsed on by both of these two teams in the nearby sections. And of course, as a 2, that is never going to be a fun situation whatsoever. Elsewhere, as we see the circle go even closer towards that kind of tunnel area close to the drill site you were talking about, it is going to be 4 teams within that next circle. And there are going to be teams like Corpa, for example, who are going to have to fight their way north. They're going to have to try and push through a lot of these squads that are already holding them out. But they're having success here as 2 members of Ascend have gone down.
Ascend now, once again, great position, but just not able to hold it at the moment. Center zone inside of this truck, but I always say, if that gen gets destroyed and you're holding down one of these trucks, you just become such a nade kind of magnet, to be honest with you, and it's not going to be lasting long, this hold, to be honest with you. They finally get the final kill, and Ascend, they will be out once again. So what was a glorious previous match day for Ascend is starting to look a little bit shabby here. Corpa once again showing how strong they can be in those team fights.
It means they can hold the southern side of this zone. Horizon are going to be just behind them as well, and they know it. Horizon have got eyes on Corpa. They saw that fight unfold, but because there are 2 very reluctant to push up, it makes a lot of sense. Diamond Gladiators, the team who won the previous game, the team who have been oozing confidence at the moment, they'll be on the northeast side of this circle, but they are currently having a little scrap with Phoenix Legacy with a team in the building.
G-Dolphin's going to have Sheila ready, I'm sure, for this push. It looks like now it's ready. Are we going to see Sheila, maybe the only thing that can disrupt the confidence and the aggression that we've seen from GG in the last few minutes? At the moment, the walls going down are going to make this push a lot harder. Diamond Gladiators also spotting a couple of players on the outside. There's Watson Fences going to give away that position. So now they find themselves in a little bit of a stickier spot than they were a few moments ago.
The only thing that can shoot more bullets than Hardeki is Sheila.
Yes.
On the other side, Hardeki can certainly compete with a turret. That's how worrying this man is when he gets going. But you do have to rev him up, it would seem, because they had a slow start, did GG, but now they're starting to show what they are truly made of. 30 seconds until Zone 3 will be closing, and Phoenix Legacy just trying to wait this one out at the moment because they know they are safe for now. And of course, they are going to be very reluctant to push out and expose themselves to the team above them.
GG want to take this fight. You can see they're constantly trying to apply pressure. They're constantly trying to get angles, and the Ogre down. The Valkyrie might be able to just about sneak on that ledge to get some shots in, but not going to be able to for now. Hardeki's got the Peacekeeper Wingman. Shout out to you. That was Season 1 throwback. And also, we know how good these weapons can be in the right hands. So anyone's going to poke around that corner. Hardeki with the purple bolt on the Mastiff. On the Peacekeeper. He's going to be able to chunk for almost 3 figures if he hits the right shots. But for now, it's just holding down the top of this building once more. They do have the Valkyrie as well if they want to take the risk to redeploy over the mountain range as that zone gets towards its end in 30 seconds time. But for now, it looks like everybody's just happy to coexist.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of coexisting at the moment. There's still a little bit of Skyhook left in this next circle. As it looks like Gaming Gladiators are going to be making the move. Leogri does get that initial knock, but look at they're still reluctant to push in because they know what is waiting for them when they get inside.
Say hello to my little friend. That's exactly what is waiting inside at the moment with Sheila just waiting to cut down anyone that is going to be coming in. Now you're going to see a little bit of pressure coming in from elsewhere. 2 C ultimates are going to go down, which is going to give information to numerous teams. A couple of shots from distance as well is going to make this a little bit more difficult. And you can see the Gaming Gladiators are desperate now to make this push in. They're trying to destroy these walls that are going down, but they just can't finish off these final 2 players.
Nice shots though with the Wingman, and it is going to be aggressive. It is going to be pushing happening. It is going to be the wipe as well as Phoenix Legacy go down, as well as Forge and EKO elsewhere. They are 2 teams that are on the edge. And it looks like Ember are also in a little bit of a scrap on the eastern side of this circle, not so far away from Gaiman Gladiators.
Well, Gaiman Gladiators once again seem to finish that fight quickly and cleanly enough that nobody even dares to move in for that third party. But you mentioned this fight that is happening on the edge at the moment of Fragment West, and that is going to be 3 Muppets. Get the black hole down, but don't get any damage off the back of it. You wonder if Gaiman Gladiators are going to look at this at some point, Dan, and really try to capitalize. Horizon eliminated with down to 12 squads.
Oh, for sure, Gaiman Gladiators are going to look at it, but they need to be careful because Invictus are also in proximity of them. So 3 Muppets will also see what's going to be happening elsewhere. That's going to be GG that they've got eyes on now. So they were pushing Ember, but it looks like GG is going to take their attention. That gives Ember a chance, but it's Leogri from distance managing to get shots there.
The flank comes in from Leogri, who manages to get that first knock. And are they going to try and capitalize on this GG, or are they going to play this one a little bit different? You can see in the top left-hand side of your screen as well at home where this zone is going to be ending, by those silos. And that is great news for the winner, of Alliance or Vexed, because those 2 teams are going to fight. Whoever comes out on top of that might just win this game.
But elsewhere still, 3 Muppets trying to stay alive. It just seems like GG are pushing everyone out of these positions at the moment, and GG should be able to at least take this hillside, but it's where Ember go, because Ember have now got an opening from the aggression we've just seen from GG.
You are wondering what the most terrifying sound in all of Apex Legends is. It's the wingman into your back when you know it's Hardeki who's shooting that thing, because he is not missing right now. 3 Muppets in problems, and Vex Gaming eliminated as well in these final moments. Na'Vi eliminated as well, and Alliance seem to be the team who have taken that priority position, as now we see what Ember can do in this choke.
Alliance are fighting elsewhere. Meanwhile, Ember, as I said, I was wondering where do they go? Who do they have to come across? Who do they have to fight here? As now they're down to just 2. The kill feed going absolutely insane right now on the top right-hand side of your screen as Ember will push through, and Young Hong Kong tries to stay alive, and it's a great map positioning to be able to get behind these walls, but unfortunately the circle is not going to allow you to stay there, so you need some sort of protection in this next circle.
Alliance eliminated. Element 6 eliminated, as LFO Forever now make their move in as well from that vault tunnel. Trying to hold out all these teams who are just maybe banking on that drill site ending, but the slight push away from them, it's going to make it more difficult for them to play as we move into these final moments. But GG still alive, Dan. And GG, it's just crazy how things can click for a team.
Yeah, we've got 2 teams that are in the next circle, and then the rest are all outside of it. GG actually one of the furthest teams away, so they're going to have to battle through not just other teams, but also all the weather they'll have to march through on this very long journey. I'm sure they'll be able to see several seasons with how long it could take. But there's going to be a couple of solos nearby to GG, so if they're able to take advantage of it, they might be able to get some KP, plus also get into a good position for the end game. You can see Hardeki just took down Kumbra. That's going to be 3 Muppets eliminated. That's going to be 6 squads remaining, as now it gets a little bit tougher for those teams who still have to move across.
This is interesting now. Is WickedSick going to choose to use this EMP early? Is he going to try and disrupt this fight and clear that left side so they only have to face the teams that are inside of that zone? That might be the decision. That might be the decision they're trying to make right now. But for Gaiman Gladiators, Leogri has fallen. So now it's up to Artico and Hardeki to force their way in towards this endgame. Difficult to do with the team above them still. Plus, like we saw, the team overlooking them from that vault tunnel.
Yeah, they're very worried about the team that's above them on the drill at the moment. Even though you can, hit them for 14 or 40, it doesn't really matter. They're going to be able to shield up quite safely, because I don't think anyone else has really got an angle on them from the height where they find themselves. Everyone's trying to shoot from low to high right now. So if you're crouching down, you should be fine in the right area. As for Gaming Gladiators, as for Ember, as for everyone else, now it's time to go. You have to move into the circles. It starts to force you in. Round 5 is closing.
Bitfix Gaming and the team up on height as well that have been holding out GG, but they're going to have to move because the zone is going to force them to do so. Creeping will be able to get that battery out. Ember, eliminated. Creeping now, looking to use the Sheila, and Hardeki, there's one way to stop him. It's with Sheila.
4 squads remaining, make it 3. Elephant Forever, the next to fall. So Bitfix Gaming are going to push up in, but again, there is 2 squads already set up. Watson fences down. They are inside the area, so they can just watch and they can nade. They can use all of the facilities they need to, as Bitfix are desperately trying to get any sort of setup, this janky setup with Sheila on the horizon potentially.
Well, this is the difference, right? That EMP isn't going to destroy those walls. You're going to have a little bit of cover still to play with. Its Turkish stars are inside. The RE45 is red, it's golden, it's looking beautiful, but the shots coming in means that it won't even be able to fire a bullet in this endgame. Now you're seeing the teams collapse. We're down to just 3 squads here, Dan.
And it's Corpa, the last remaining team, who have been central circle for quite some time. They pick their moment and decide to get aggressive, and all of a sudden it's down to 2 squads.
Turkish Stars eliminated. Corpa trying to do the damage, and they will do damage as well. They get the first knock. Now they're looking to just clean up what is left, and Corpa will take home our penultimate game of the day here on World's Edge. They win game number 5, and that final push that came in, the aggression which has been almost the word to describe their gameplay today, is used perfectly in those final moments to close things out.
And it was all on the back